Hey, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Heat Press for Profit Live. I'm excited that you are watching with us today, whether that's on Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube. After the episode, I really want to encourage you guys to head over to Heat Press for Profit. It's a Facebook group, and it's a great community that has folks just like you constantly sharing business tips, heat printing ideas, asking questions, and having discussions on all things heat print technology. So be sure to check that out, join the community, join the conversation, and get in the know-how of how you can really run a successful heat printing business. We have a super exciting topic to share with you today, and I am joined by Milissa Gibson, the sales director at Lane7. So, Milissa, why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about yourself?
Hey, I've been super excited to be here, by the way. I've been in the industry for over 12 years, kind of focused in the fashion apparel space and the decorated apparel, and working with brands and companies of all sizes, and watched explosive growth. And I also have my own screen printing shop in Dripping Springs, Texas, and in the thick of it. So just did a live print yesterday for 8 hours, and my feet still hurt.
Yeah, so whenever you say you did a live print, so you were actually on site, were you doing screen printing, heat printing? What did that look like?
Yeah, I was doing traditional screen printing. So I had the fully manual press, and usually sometimes when we do a live print, we do transfers instead, because it's
Yeah.
so much easier and a whole lot less equipment to bring along. But yeah, this was on site during a industry trade show, kind of with a private client, and it was a lot of fun, a ton of engagement, which is my favorite part, because a lot of people forget or don't know how everything is made. So it's always a really engaging experience.
Yeah, that's awesome. And for those of you that don't know, a little fun fact, Dripping Springs is actually right next to Austin, which is where I'm located. And I actually had the opportunity to go out and visit Melissa's shop. Again, that's called High Voltage Studios. And it is amazing to really just see a lot of that equipment in action, see the finished product. So you guys are doing some really great stuff out there. And so really excited to have you here. You guys have developed a lot of really great apparel over at Lane7. And I feel like you guys just have a very deep understanding of some of the latest trends in the market and how you can create effective marketing and sales campaigns with those blanks. So very excited to have you as a guest on today. For those of you watching live, we love to keep this very interactive. So feel free to comment in questions. Tell us where you're joining from. We always love to know where everyone is watching, and of course, have a little bit of a conversation going. So feel free to comment that in no matter where you are viewing from. So today we are going to be talking about sales opportunities for summer. And there are a lot of markets this time of year, and they go a little unnoticed. A lot of people consider summer kind of like an off season because they're so focused on like fall and winter sports and things alike. So unless you're already targeting some of the audiences for summer, they can go overlooked. So I'm going to make a bold claim, right? And that if you implement any of these markets that we're going to review with you for this summer, you can get to the point of having dozens of orders coming in and really increase your revenue stream. So it's a bold claim, but I stand by it because these are markets that do have a lot to offer if you can go after them effectively and be able to implement them into your day-to-day efficiently. So Melissa and I are going to share some of those ideas with you. And they are unique enough to diversify your product offering, but also help you stay competitive, right? We don't want you just joining or diving into a market hoping that it's going to, offer all of this opportunity for you, We need to make sure you're going into those markets effectively, staying competitive, and really just broadening all the reach that you can have as a custom apparel decorator. Right. You excited, Milissa?
I am. I super passionate about all of this. I firmly believe in diversifying your customer segments and what you're doing and making sure you're a year-round company.
Yeah. So there is a lot happening in the summer. Summer camps, corporate retreats, family reunions, concerts and festivals. Really, if it's happening this summer, there is a style out there waiting for you to brand in markets that want to buy it, right? So your custom printed apparel for summer is what you design it to be. And one of the first ones that I think can warrant a very high profit opportunity and priceless promotion is resorts.
Yes, this is a huge market segment, and they're really, what they're looking for is a vibe, right? You want to take that vacation vibe, you want to take that lake vibe, you want to take it home. And what the end user is looking for is to take it home, and every time they put on that t-shirt or that hoodie, they're reminded of that, right? It always, you're like, I have a hoodie from Turks and Caicos, right? And every time I am kind of freaking out a little bit, I put that on and I'm back in Turks and Caicos, which is someday.
I love that. That's the real definition of bringing good vibes back from a resort, right?
Yes. So, and in that, you're looking at resort, we're usually talking about something water related or skiing. Those are kind of the two big markets within resort. And you're looking for kind of those coastal colors, those really that vintage look, the laid back, a little bit more of a relaxed fit. Because I know I certainly put on a little weight during any vacation that I take. So, so you're looking for something a little bit more relaxed, the pastel-y type colors and things like that. And there's the markup in those. The margin percentage is probably the highest out of almost everything that that's your highest level of opportunity for margin.
Yeah, I love one of the first things that you said about, we all have our staple pieces that we love to purchase. And it's not because it's a necessity, it's because it's an accessory. I like to view resort custom apparel as kind of like a retail custom apparel because I'm buying something that is not only going to be a keepsake for me or a souvenir, but then I'm going to be able to go and wear it. It's going to be that additional accessory that maybe has that comfortable fit that I'm looking for, as you mentioned. So tees, hats, lightweight fleece, there we see a lot of those apparel trends sticking out hugely in resorts, and they all have those bright coastal colors, like you said. So are there specific items at Lane7 that you feel fit this market like to a T?
Yeah. So my favorite to really lean into for within the Lane7 collection would definitely be our women's crop tee or crop hoodie. Super lightweight. It's sponge fleece. It's got that kind of beautiful buttery feel. That's going to lean into right now. It's leaning a lot younger. So that's going to be capture your teen and preteen girls market. And then from there, I jump into our French terry because sometimes it gets a little cold at night. And so you're wanting a little bit of weight, but not much. So our French terry, we've got a crew and a hood at 7.6 ounces, super lightweight. It's just kind of perfect for that slight summer chill. And then our vintage collection, which has a tee, a hoodie, and a jogger, is absolutely perfect. It's got that coastal look. It's got that really vintage wash, faded look, something that you look like you've lived in that forever. So those are kind of where I lean into outside of our basic categories because they really fit that perfect lake lifestyle.
I love it. Yeah. So, guys, if you visit Lane7, all of the products that Milissa is discussing here, you can find right on their website. Where are some other locations that they'll be able to find Lane7 if they are using distributors?
Yeah, so you can either buy direct or through Alpha Broder or One Stop in Michigan. So those are the three options we have currently. We are definitely growing, but we're got a really competent and great sales team that would love to help you out in any way.
Yeah, and I've actually felt some of these pieces in person at some trade shows. I always love stopping by y'all's booth because it's always just so open and I feel like I'm in a literal store when I'm there. So these pieces are really great. Is there sampling that you can do with Lane7 for people to get their hands on some products before buying?
Yeah, so if you open an account with us, we can generally get you out a couple samples. We ask that you cover the cost of the sample to test out. If you have any questions, please reach out to me specifically. I know the most about decorating at this point on our team, and I can certainly help get you into the right product for the right situation.
Lovely. All right. So, as far as these Lane7 products that go, they are very easy to heat press as well. So, whenever we think about blanks and things that we want to be able to brand for resorts, for example, resorts are going to be a really high value opportunity for custom apparel decorators because not only are you printing for the resort, but the resort is providing product to their customers so that they can take their brand beyond the borders into everyday lives of their guests. So this opens up a lot of branding for you as an apparel decorator to not only target resorts, but also put maybe your branding on the inside of that t-shirt to get a little bit more awareness for your brand as a custom apparel decorator. So Lane7 does a really great job in making sure that their products are great for printing with any type of technology. So whether that be screen printing, whether you're embroidering it, or you are using direct to film with a heat press, there are so many options because the product is very versatile. So let's talk about some of those print trends. We went over some of the trends for resorts. And for those of you that are taking notes from this broadcast, coastal colors, vintage wash, some lightweight fleece, the sponge fleece that Milissa mentioned, those are some really great apparel trends. Now, when it comes to printing these, you can simply do this with a heat press. And if you are going to be doing bulk orders for resorts, screen print transfers are a really great option. I know, Milissa, you actually use some of our screen print transfers at High Voltage, your
Yep.
screen print shop. We always recommend goof proof whenever it comes to those bulk orders because of that 4-second application. Can you speak to a little bit to the finish of our screen print transfers on the Lane7 pieces?
It's like a match made in heaven. So one thing I really love about what you guys do and marrying that up with the Lane7 product is that Lane7, the blank itself, you could sell all day long, right? But giving it that little bit of extra, and you don't have to do much. You can keep the design really simple, and it really just helps accentuate the garment. I always believe that the graphic or the art will drive the first purchase. The second purchase is always on the garment. So to get people to come back, have great art, really simplistic, especially resort. They love kind of the more simple, just, like St. Bart's, right? Or wherever.
Yeah.
Aspen has a lot of oomph just with a really simple logo. And when you're doing, they want small orders generally for retail. So the heat transfer is perfect. And you can keep that in large quantities for the graphic, and you can change it out between garments, which is my personal favorite.
Brilliant, brilliant. I love to get that insight from someone actually doing the printing. So thank you for that. Keep in mind, guys, screen print, whenever we say goof proof, it is a screen print transfer. It is screen print ink. It is essentially screen printing, but with just a heat press. Some other products that I do recommend, like Milissa mentioned, they do like to keep the logo pretty simple. Maybe it's big text just as a center front, or maybe something on the sleeve and a left chest. Special effect finishes go a long way too. We see that happening a lot in screen print with puff finishes. But I want to call out maybe some twill finishes because we have a very unique new heat transfer vinyl known as Chroma Twill, which is that actual twill texture. But it does have like an iridescent sheen. If you guys haven't had a chance to check that out, we did just release that recently. So it is brand new, but definitely check it out because I could see this going very well for resorts because it's going to elevate the finish of that design and logo. But it's going to pair nicely with some of those very fun colors and washes because it's still a very nice texture to it because of that twill fabric in there.
That is one thing you're seeing all over the industry is it's all about texture and really giving that super elevated, and the cost is not that much more to get into this. And you can, 2 to 3 times your actual sell because of something really simple and that texture. People are absolutely seeking it out. It would be how I would lead into that sales pitch is with that textured type garment and decorating.
Great. So for those of you wondering where you can source these, we are dropping some links into the chat there. So feel free to visit those to learn up a little bit more about Lane7 and some of the products that we are talking about. We're going to go ahead and move on from resorts. That is part one of some of the markets that you can be really increasing your profit opportunity with this summer. Next up, we have digital nomads, right? So I consider myself a digital nomad. I don't know about you, Melissa. I don't go to Nomad unless it's one of those like WeWork situations, like a coffee shop or something. But essentially, it's just remote workers, right?
Yep.
And I actually have to call S&S Activewear for this one because they did a piece on this, which talks a little bit about, how many people are actually like doing nomad digital work. And so in that report, it's by the independent research report, 16.9 million digital nomads are out there working remotely, right? So essentially, again, just remote workers that just work from wherever they want, whether it's where their clients are mainly focused, or if they're just doing digital work on their laptop and traveling around while they do that. It's becoming increasingly popular. I think when 2020 hit, it really just had a huge shift in how people are doing their work, right? So it was a big shift for me. I'm now in Austin, Texas because of it. But when it comes to outfitting for these people, even though they do work remote, they're taking calls through Zoom or they're going into client meetings to wherever they traveled to. So when we think about the apparel that we want to brand for them, it needs to be very versatile. It needs to go from being in a meeting to going to their after hours, right? Something very versatile that can be worn day in, day out and be comfortable but professional, right? So for those of you that may be doing local business or corporations and you're branding for them, think that, but just for people that are traveling a lot. So we're going to see a lot more athleisure here, a little bit more minimalistic when it comes to branding, but the opportunity is still great, right? So we talked about some of these markets are definitely unique so that you can stay competitive. So this is just a unique way to be able to target a new audience for summer because they're going to be traveling to ideal locations that may be a little bit more tropical. So what do you think, Melissa, as far as apparel goes for our travelers that are working remote and need those essential staples that can go from meetings to after hours?
Yeah, this is probably for us has been since 2020 has been the largest growth area that you're seeing. People are calling out more elevated product, right? And for a lot of the other piece that I don't think enough people think about is for remote workers, there's a lot of benefits that you can get and swag you might get that you're in the office, but a lot of that would go to waste, right? For on the hard goods side, if you're have someone who's at home, like no one really wants a mouse pad, right? So, and when they're on a Zoom call, like right now, I'm doing a lot of advertising for Harley Davidson, but so you would want your employee or whoever out there representing your company, and what a subtle way to do it than with a hoodie. That's for people who are at home. They kind of want that comfort, but something a little bit more elevated, just like you said, going from day to night. And the hoodie, thank God, has really made it can go. It's now acceptable day and night, even with a good pair of sweatpants and joggers. That fit has become acceptable for 24/7. And one collection that I love in this space particular is our urban collection. It has no
I
drop
love
here.
the Lane7 urban collection. It is my favorite. Every time I see it, I think I say it over again. I'm like, Milissa, this is the one.
It is the one. No draw cord here, so super clean branding specifically for anyone who's on Zoom, and is a really relaxed fit. And then it has a matching pair of sweatpants that are to die for. It's got a zippered interior pocket on both sides. And this is more for women than for men. The pocket goes like all the way down. You can fit a full iPhone. I thought I lost my phone and my passport when I was traveling last year. It was just in my pocket and I couldn't even feel it. So, which is a new feeling as a woman. Yeah,
those pockets are usually like
yeah, the little tiny, we can't fit anything in those. So yeah, that's what you're seeing, and having really simple, again, the branding is usually very simple from a corporate standpoint, and is all kind of up here. You might see some other applications. The thing I love the most about transfers is you can get a lot more creative with placement than you can with traditional screen printing. You can get up on the shoulders. You can, you're seeing a lot more here. Down in here, you're seeing a lot more placement, which is just really difficult with traditional screen printing.
Yeah, transfers do help to get those unique print locations. And that's always been a very hot topic when it comes to heat transfers, because we have interchangeable platens like what you see behind me here. That is a small 6x10, which isn't the standard, but it's helping me isolate a print area. So if I want to go from doing a left chest to maybe popping a collar on there and doing a placement there, unique placements go a long way, because if you look at the Harley Davidson that Milissa has on right now, they're doing a standard left chest. So if we're constantly seeing a standard left chest, it can be overlooked. We might notice it really quickly. Oh yeah, it's Harley Davidson branding, whatever. However, if it's a newer brand or somebody looking to build awareness, popping additional placement in a unique area is going to draw the eye to that brand placement, because it's somewhere weird we wouldn't normally see it. Now, I'm not saying go over top with it. Like, don't go overboard and make it weird and like all crazy, unless that's the niche,
the vibe,
marketing, and that's out there too. I see it all over hats these days and kind of like it, honestly. But be strategic about it is what I'm saying. Make sure it still looks clean and it's still representing the brand that you are custom printing for. Now, there are a lot of remote workers, and I think there's a lot of opportunity to be had there. But one thing not to overlook is influencers. I feel like they fit into this. And I say influencers lightly because I feel like it has a bit of a connotation, just the word. It's very broad now. But I want to just say anybody that has a personality online who is in front of video, those are the people that you can be targeting. And with the growth of TikTok and Instagram Reels, there are more and more and more each day. So I encourage you to, whatever community you're in, think about who that person is for you, and if you can start branding their stuff. Because if they have a following, they can sell product. And that's what the whole purpose of being an influencer is being able to sell product through video, through their influence. So find that personality in your community. There will be more than one, I can promise you that. So there are plenty to target, but those are great candidates for this space, and being able to brand some unique things for their personal brand or whoever they may be promoting.
Can I go in on that?
Yes.
This is where heat transfers win all day long. Because holding inventory is the riskiest piece that you can ever do. Decorated inventory, right? So you get in with an influencer, and I've seen it time and time again. They'll go in and they'll screen order traditional screen printing, and they're going to have all of this inventory, and they screwed up what they thought was going to sell and what's not. They're holding the bag, which really puts a halt to your sales. But if you have one graphic and you can put it on 12 different things and do it on demand, it really opens up not only their versatility and finding out if they're not used to selling apparel merch, what's going to work for them, and reduces risk across the board and really helps you improve your relationship. And you can pivot faster if, like, oh my gosh, this color is doing so well, or it's really trending in this community, that you can get into that a lot faster.
Yeah, those are really great points. And for those of you that are ordering transfers from us now, this is a great example of why a lot of people are gang sheeting one logo in different sizes onto our goof proof sheets. Yep. Or if you want to do something a little bit more elevated and get flex and order 5 of those samples and print them on 5 different things, just to kind of get that product out there and show them all the different things that you can do. So use samples to your benefit, use gang sheeting to your benefit. This can really help in that space. As far as print finishes go, anything elevated, okay, we're keeping it minimal as far as colors go. For the most part, it's just pretty minimalistic depending on what brand that maybe the remote worker is representing, but could get definitely a little bit more creative with the influencer. But embroidered patches, elevated and dimensional patches like a faux leather, which is a little bit more lighter weight than a genuine leather, which would work a little bit better on the urban fleece, in my opinion. And then, obviously PVC and silicone, those are all really great options. Something more than just your basic matte finish, which can still go a long way. But if you're looking for that extra profit opportunity, those are really great options.
And tonal.
Tone on tone.
With that texture and then getting a tonal transfer, it's absolutely beautiful.
Chef's kiss, if you
yes.
Okay. All right. So we just talked about 2. We have resorts, and then the next is our digital remote workers or influencers, anybody online in front of a camera that needs that branding. And then last, our third one, and a lot of options fall under this one. And so we just titled it outdoorsy, right? So anything that encompasses being outdoors, family reunions. Summer is when events start going from inside halls and convention centers to being outside. So family reunions, corporate retreats, festivals and concerts, golf outings, right? There's so many different things that can really fall under this. So whatever your target is here, there's a lot of opportunity. Pick one and run with it, and pick one that you'll have fun working with. So whenever it comes to outdoors, there are specific staples, and I say outerwear lightly because outerwear, we think coats and rain jackets and things like that, and that's still essential for the most part. But as the temperatures increase, we want something that's a little bit more transitional, something a little bit more lighter weight, or even moisture wicking, right? So what are some Lane7 products that you recommend for this category?
So my favorite in this category is going to be our heavyweight, our LS 19001. It is a little bit oversized. It's a 10-ounce fleece. The finish on this, it's 100% cotton facing, so it's really diverse in what you can do with it decoration wise. But to me, it has the perfect fit. My husband, on the other hand, would tell you our LS 14001, which I call my gateway drug. It's the one that if you get this in your hands and you get this in your customers' hands, it really starts to open the floodgates in terms of hoodies.
I love that.
Yes. So those are kind of the two fits. Women tend to lean, I don't know why. I think women just like a heavier weight.
Like an oversized fit.
Yeah,
like that. Yeah.
And men tend to like something a little bit more shapely, I guess, which is kind of counterintuitive.
I feel like this has flopped.
Yes, I think so too. So both are great. Our LS 14001 is an 8.25 ounce. Our LS 19001 is a 10 ounce. And it also really depends on where you are. So I saw someone here is from Florida. That LS 14001 does really well in Florida. The heavyweight, probably not so much unless they're looking for that. And there is a lot of call outs for a heavier weight fleece, and that's where a 10 ounce comes in. So that's those are the main staples within our program that I would recommend in this case.
And everything you do have some sustainability pieces as well, right?
Yeah, thank you. I should be talking about that. Yeah. So we have a new fleece that just came out this year, which is our Future Fleece. It is 100% sustainable. It is 55 regenerated cotton, which means it's made from broken down hoodies, and then 45% recycled poly, also made from recycled hoodies. So they take a whole batch of hoodies, all the same color, within grade, and break them back down and are able to respin the yarn. The craziest part about that fleece in particular, and this is a great kind of jumping off point and huge margin potential, it's $8.55.
I think that's crazy. I honestly when you told me that the first time, I was like, that's not right. Because when you think sustainability, you think high price point.
Yes.
Because everybody wants sustainable until they see the prices.
Yep.
And so when you said that your price for these sustainable pieces, I was like, wow, this is about to be a game changer for sustainability in our side of the industry, like in a huge way.
Yeah, we have customers that are selling it with just one, very simple print and location. They're selling it, to their customer for $20, $30. So they're pricing it just like a standard hoodie.
That margin is insane.
It's a good margin. I like that type of margin.
Yeah.
That really helps. And it helps pivot when your customer's calling out for sustainability, that you can give them it's a really good product. It decorates beautifully. You're going to just love that, and the additional margin that you can make and give them something a little bit different than what's other options out there in the market.
I love that. And I feel like that opens up for those of you that want to be able to do sustainable and keep that cost down and your profit margin high. This is a really great opportunity. People are actively looking for sustainable options. To pair with that, as far as the heat transfer goes, I'm going to say direct to film. You have that water-based ink solution. So it's going to speak directly to that sustainability. And it's 5 cents a square inch. So
we've got money just sitting on the table here. Yeah.
Right. So keep that in mind as far as what print technology is out there that can keep your costs low. And it's a versatile one as well. So we talk about versatility a lot. We all need that one transfer that will work on just about anything. So direct to film Ultra Color Max is definitely going to give you exactly that. So definitely a pair made in heaven, if you will. That's sustainability and direct to film. So if you guys are going after that market, sustainable pieces will fit well here, as well as those oversized tees. If you need that go-to t-shirt, Milissa mentioned one. Or no, you mentioned two. What were the item numbers on that?
So our heavyweight hoodie is our LS 19,001. And then my gateway drug is my premium fleece hoodie, our LS 14,001.
Premium fleece LS 14,001.
Yes, ma'am.
Cool. All right. I just added those to the chat if you guys want to check those out on the Lane7 website. Okay. So as we wrap up today's broadcast and today's discussion, one thing I want you guys to keep in mind as you are, I'm sure your wheels are turning as far as how you can target specific customers in each of these markets. So what, we really want to consider at this point is how you can increase awareness around the custom apparel brand or around your custom apparel brand by implementing these concepts. Because ultimately, increasing awareness is going to increase the bottom line of your business, get your product out there in front of the customers that you are targeting, and ultimately, hopefully, get that repeat business next year. So some considerations whenever you are increasing awareness around this is, as you're targeting these audiences, do your research, understand what they are looking for. A good example of this is resort wear. It is much like retail, where they're more or less purchasing this as a souvenir or a keepsake from their trip or their vacation. So it's not a necessity item, it's an accessory, right? So think about some of those next level pieces that have those bright colors, those vintage washes that Lane7 has to offer, because they're going to add a little bit more value within that market space as opposed to maybe a family reunion market space. So really understand that target audience, the products that they're looking for, and think more of what accessories can I provide them with as opposed to just that necessity basic tee. Right?
Yep.
Anything to add to that, Milissa?
Yeah, my biggest piece of advice is work backwards. So when you're looking at a prospective client or a market, look at kind of the range of product that's already there and the price points. And have a general understanding. With retail, they're looking for usually a 50% margin. So, you work backwards, it's going to land you in the price range that you need to be at so that you can make your cut, they make their cut, and you want to provide a solution, right? So look at what they're doing, what's missing in that market. And then that really kind of helps diversify that solution. And if they're missing something that you're seeing in active, in retail at Target, and they don't have it in their retail shop, to do a sample and show them that this is mimicking what they're seeing in other retail. This is going to help that impulse purchase buy.
Absolutely. And I did see someone ask earlier about the sampling. So you can get samples from stalls.com, from transferexpress.com, and then also from Lane7. The samples, depending on what you're looking for, there are price points too, as far as Lane7 and Stalls and Transfer Express go. So keep that in mind. But it's definitely worth the investment to get those samples out there because it can really help land a new client. Another great tip around building awareness for the custom products is product kitting or bundling. So being able to show the customer, not only can you do this elevated fleece or this oversized t-shirt, but here are some other things I can do. And that can look like elevated print finishes. So maybe instead of just a standard screen print, you show puff, or instead of just a single color, you show direct to film and do have a little bit of fun artwork in there and show them that you can do full color and it still look nice and feel nice on the product. So product kitting and bundling can really allow you to do that, especially with our digital nomads, right? Because they can have a polo, but what if they also have a hat, or what if they also have a bag or a jacket during their travels, right? So We want our digital nomads at that point to be walking billboards for the brand that they're representing. So if you can bundle those products together and sell it as a kit, then that will go a long way for you. Do you do anything like that now, Milissa, at High Voltage?
I do, but I can't take credit for this. So yesterday, the event I was at, they gave away, and I thought it was genius, and I loved it. For kidding, they gave us a really high-end backpack. Their logo was super minimalistic, and if my house wasn't a mess behind me, I would totally show you what it looked like. A beautiful Fellows coffee mug, super elevated, high-end, and really, because this is your billboard and you want to elevate your brand, you want to give them products that they're going to love. And you want, for apparel, you want to be top of drawer, right? That hoodie or t-shirt
Yes.
that you're going to your washer dryer to get that to wear again, that you can't let it get too far down. Same for, a backpack or whatever. You want that to be the thing that they get. So, I always encourage corporate to spend a little bit more than maybe they're comfortable with. It's good for me, but it's also better for them that they're going to get something a little bit higher quality, and the longevity and the ROI for branding is much, much higher if their employees actually using it.
Yeah, and when it comes to that, and I'm going to tie this up in a pretty bow, because as you mentioned that, and it's products that they love, and it's more sustainable. It's something they want to hold on to. Once you realize that with these customers, and you're keeping data, right? You want to keep data of the products that your customers want to pull out their money and buy, the ones that they want to hold on to. If you have that data and you're keeping notes on that stuff, that's going to help you target people more specifically whenever you start going after more business in these markets. So you can spend your time and your money more wisely. Milissa mentioned earlier, whenever you get started into a market, working backwards, figuring out what price points are, maybe where you can fill gaps. And as you're doing that and you're keeping all this data and your customers are buying and you see what they're coming back for, this is just going to help contribute to you maintaining and growing your custom apparel business. So if you keep that data, you can scale up, you can use it to advertise, and just ultimately grow your custom apparel business into these audiences that much faster. All right. So that wraps up today's discussion. So for those of you that stuck on with us for a full 45 minutes, I love to see it. And hopefully you guys are walking away with a bunch of notes of different markets that you can target this summer, and really just help build that additional revenue stream and put more money back into your business. Milissa, thank you so much for joining. I couldn't have done this without you. All of the information you shared about Lane7 and trending products that our customers can be printing to help elevate their business. It's awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Happy to do this.
All right. We'll see you guys next time. Don't forget to join us over on the Heat Press for Profit Facebook group. Again, thanks for joining. We'll see you next time.